Okay, so how do we factor this expression? Well, you know the first step on every factoring problem is we ask, is there anything in common? In this case, yeah, they're all divisible by 2, aren't they? And that would leave 3, 33, and what's that? 72. But notice they're also now divisible by 3. All these are divisible by 3. Now leaves a 1, leaves an 11, and that leaves some number I don't know. I think it's 24. Yeah, that's 24. So really they were divisible by 2 and then 3, which really means from the beginning, I should have just divided them by 6. I'm going to go back and do that. Does that make sense? So if you notice that 3 terms have in common something like, like they're all divisible by 2, and then you get your answers, and then you say, oh, wait a minute, I can go again. It's divisible by 3. You check that in your calculator and you say, oh yeah, 72 is divisible by 3, it's 24. And then 33 divided by 3 is 11, and 3 divided by 3 is just 1. So it divided again, it divided further. Then what that means is really you should have done a bigger number from the beginning, and you know what that number is. How do you know? It's these 2 numbers multiplied. 2 times 3, 6, right? Because 2 goes in and 3 goes in, which means 2 times 3, 6 goes into all those numbers. So let me go back for all this. I'm scribbling all over the place. Let's go back and divide them all by 6 then. By 6. Because remember, you've got to get the GCF, the greatest common factor, the greatest amount they have in common. You can't just get any old thing they have in common. You've got to get the biggest number that goes into the 3 of them. So this will leave 1, this will leave 11, if you use your calculator, this will be 24. And then that's just, how do you think, well, how do you know when you're done? Well, nothing else is divisible by 1, 11, and 24, other than 1. I mean, right, 1 goes into all the numbers, we don't count that. Nothing else goes into 1, 11, and 24. So we're done. That's all they have in common. That's the greatest common factor. And and how about letters? You also have to look for letters. No, they don't all have a Z, because the back one has no letters at all. So the greatest common factor is the 6. So that means we're going to do the 1 big parenthesis, 3 terms on the inside, a minus and a plus, so that whatever would multiply to go back, right? That's the first step. So we'll put that 6 in the front. 1 big parenthesis, 3 terms on the inside, a minus and a plus, and then let's make it work. 6 times what? Well, we already got it here. 1 z squared. We'll go back to 6z squared, right? And 6 times, we got it right here, 11z. We'll go back to minus 66z, right? 6 times minus 11z, minus 66z. And finally, 6 times what? 24. And check it on your calculator if you want. 6 times 24 goes back to 144. All right, that's the first step. And now the second step, well, we have 3 terms. 3 terms. So here, let me put it this way. Leave the 6 in the front. Factor the 3 terms inside the parentheses. And how are we going to do that? Well, multiply, add, multiply. What multiplies adds, multiplies, right? So we go, okay. Just leave the 6 sitting in the front. So we're saying, I'll put the 6 here and the 2 parentheses. All right, we're going to put 2 parentheses. And we're going to now front times front. Let me do that. I like the clarity. So front times front to make z squared. That's just going to be z times z. You can put 1s if you want, but it doesn't really matter. That's just z times z. Nothing more fancy than that going on there. And now the back. What multiplies to be 24? Well, to multiply to be 24, there's a few options, right? It's 4 times 6 is 24. Use your calculator. 3 times 8 is 24. 2 times 12 is 24. And 1 times 24 is 24. Now, which of those can add to be negative 11? Well, it's the 3 and the 8, huh? We got to put 3 and 8. And by the way, the order doesn't matter because they're both just with a regular z. If there were different things, if there was like a 2z here and a 5z there, then it would matter where you put the 8 and the 3 because they would be with different things in the parentheses. But in this case, the front of the parentheses are both just regular z. So the order doesn't matter. And so anyway, what signs? Now, remember how this works in the end. We've got to make sure that we add to be the middle term of negative 11. How's that going to happen? Both negative, huh? Both negative. You could check it. If you're not sure, go ahead and check it. I can prove it down here. Check it, meaning let this guy go to both. This would be z squared minus 8z, and then this guy go to both minus 3z plus 24, right? Negative 3 times negative 8. So, and then these two in the middle, so they make minus 11z, which is exactly right. You make plus 24 at the back, exactly right. Check, it's right, we're done. That's the answer, so bring it up here. The answer is 6, z minus 3, z minus 8. You can do it either order. You could have the minus 8 coming first and the minus 3 in the back. It doesn't really matter. Either order, and there we go.